and the stream went down. Did 12 reps, so that's 2 more than I did last week. All right, some more to do. Oh man. I'm gonna go for one more set, just for fun. Normally I would go down to the 35 pounds, or down to 30 pounds, but I'm gonna just do one more set of all I can do at this weight. And then I'll go down to the 30 pounds. If I was you, I want to. All right, that was super fantastic. Anyone watching have a good weekend? I hope somebody did. It's definitely a good weekend for me. My favorite part about the weekend is sleeping in. I was really disappointed though. I thought like sleeping in this weekend, like it would give my body like all the rest it needed to ditch this cold, but it did not. Did manage to pass it back to my kids, so that's fun. They were sick before me, and I thought that I thought that I got it from them, but now they're sick again. So I could give it to them, or they have something new, which will be fun because I'll catch it on top of whatever else I have. Kids are great for your immune system. It's very ugly in here and there. I gotta say, like when you um when you have kids, when they first go into preschool, like just be prepared for them to be sick a lot. Like they get they get so sick, and then you get sick, and it's just a barrage of sickness in the house for the first like couple of months. It seems like, and then it gets better. The annoying one is the kids with lice. Thankfully, we dodged the bullet on all the lice that was ending up at the preschool. Um, but man, when those lice warnings go out, you get so paranoid. You got to go through your kid's hair, make sure they don't have a problem. Like I said, thankfully we dodged the lice bullet a few times. My wife has very thick hair, so she is terrified of lice. I don't even ever remember having lice when I was a kid, but I think I think boys it's less of a problem. If I had lice when I was a kid, my dad would just shave my hair down, and that would have been the end of it. Okay. All right, wait a second here. That was hard. Hmm. Yeah, lice and fleas are two things I find very repulsive. Be right back. I gotta go check on something with my kids. All right. All is well. Let's do this. That was just 13. We'll go again in a minute. Okay. I had some increases at the top. Just really want to do good at the bottom as well, or in the middle. Just gonna keep pushing. Breathe, find my center. I've been, there's a lot going on in the political scene in the U.S. right now, and it's one of the things, like, when you read the news and stuff, you can see, like, just the inconsistencies in the stories they tell and how they present information. And I'll tell you, it makes me question so much more the validity of everything I've ever learned in history. Because of the same quality of people that write our current history books or write our current media are the same quality people that have always presented history. It's very discouraging. makes me just question everything so much more. I plan on living to be very old, and like I plan on living for at least another 70 years. And 70 years from now, I'm really going to enjoy reading and listening to accounts of what's happening today, and just seeing how they view it in the future versus how it actually happened, and seeing how it's recorded based off of who finally wins. It's going to be fascinating. I'd like to make it. It'd be really great if I can make it to 115 years old. I make it to 115. I'll see a new century, and then I'll get to see people react to a new century and stuff. It'll be fun. It'd be fun to make it to 115, provided I can still think. But if I make it to 115, if I make it to 116 or 117, I'll be alive 100 years after 9/11. And then I'll get to hear what people think, or if they even remember it. It'll be fascinating to see. All right. Moving 25 pounds. I'll tell you, the one thing that I've come to appreciate or learned is a strong distrust for anyone that talks about history or current events with complete certainty and surety. Anyone that speaks about history with an air of authority, bordering on like they're sure they know what happened, I would automatically distrust. Anyone that can't openly admit that there's a high probability they don't know what they're talking about, I would strongly distrust. I think that's I think it's the amount of people that know what they're talking about 100% is very slim. I'm glad that at least I figured that out. And I'll tell you, if you can be honest and admit that you don't know what you're talking about, I'm way more inclined to listen to you and hear what your opinion is on it. Because if you're not 100%, you're not dogmatic, like this is what happened, and I know that this is what happened, and this is what it means, that means you're open to growth and learning, and that means your opinion is going to keep not changing, but like you're going to keep learning, because your opinion on your own self or your own knowledge is one that says I don't know everything, and then you can keep being open to change, open to learning, and I really like that better than someone that's so sure they know everything. When I was going to college, so to JC, junior college, and I took anthropology, and I took stellar astronomy, and I had a strong distaste for the teachers that taught anthropology because they couldn't admit that things like carbon dating aren't 100%, and that there is a lot of guesswork that goes into carbon dating. And to dating anything, there's a certain amount of assumptions that a scientist makes when they're looking at the age of a fossil or the age of a rock. They don't really know. And I'm fine with somebody saying that their opinion is, it's 100,000 years old or it's a million years old. But at least when you're telling me what your opinion is, acknowledge the amount of guessing and the lack of science that goes into it. And my anthropology teachers just couldn't do it. They were so dogmatic that their opinions were 100% correct, and that you couldn't question any of the dating methods that they used. Versus, I really liked my astronomy professor because he freely admitted to the class that all that he was teaching was conjecture, and that none of the things that he was teaching about stars and the formation of stars and existence of black holes, that all of it was based on conjecture, and none of it was hard science, or you couldn't know these things with 100% certainty. It was just a lot of guessing. I loved listening to him talk so much more than my anthropology teachers, and I would follow him down a rabbit hole because he was honest that it may end up being wrong. It's like, okay, cool, man, I'll go on this trip with you because you are ready to say you might not know what you're talking about. Versus my anthropology teachers who refuse to acknowledge that. And it's like, well, I'm not gonna. I'm not interested in going on this ride with you because you're not going to be honest. You're not going to admit when you don't know. So yeah, so I'm curious, very curious to see how the future is going to portray current events and what facts are going to be forgotten or dismissed in order to support the narrative of whoever wins. And I think it's unfortunate because if I look at the media as an example in the United States, mainstream media, whether it's left leaning or right leaning, both of them lie explicitly, and they're just both so awful for reporting facts and not opinion. So if either side wins and that side writes history and it's an example of the media, it's going to be the accounting of the last 5 years, last 10 years. It's going to be so awful by the time I'm old. It's going to be just a fairy tale. And some things will never, know with surety, anyways. Like, well, I don't believe I'll ever with surety know what happened with the attempted assassination of President Trump. I think that it's like the investigating body, you can't trust them because it's the FBI, and the FBI has lied in the past in their investigations. So to assume they wouldn't lie today is crazy. So you'll just never know. I do think that's why it's important. One, to not let yourself get caught in the hype of any event. Don't let somebody hustle you. If someone's giving you a fast pitch, I tend to lean on the idea that they're trying to lie to me or manipulate me. And that's one thing I've learned. Like, cause I used to buy like a lot of like jewelry, like scrap jewelry, the job that I had one time, and people would come in to sell either stolen items or they would try to sell you fake items. And the fake items and the guys would just try to get you to go so fast so you wouldn't catch their fakes. And they would try to hustle you and make you do a bad job or distract you. And if you just stayed focused, they really couldn't pull that off. So that was a big thing for me. Sorry, I got distracted something. There's a cat outside of my garage. So that was a big thing for me, is not getting distracted. Um, we'll be right back. I gotta go see what's on the side of my house. All right, there was a cat. I had to go check though. I was like 90% certain it was a cat out there. The side of my house, I have like stuff that makes noise, so like no one can like walk on that side of my house without me knowing. Um, I could hear something moving around. Didn't know it was, like I said, 90% certain it was a cat, but had to go check, and it was a cat. I don't like I I like to keep my house very secure, and so I have different things set up on the outside of my house to make sure that you can't just walk around, like it's impossible. Um, Especially where all the bedroom windows are. There's no way you can get through my bedroom windows without me knowing that you're on the side of my house. I strongly recommend, like, if you have a house or wherever you live, like making sure that you can know if someone's walking around outside your house. But don't just rely on like a ring cam or a door cam. Don't rely on cameras or anything electronic, because they'll fail. Like if you have side gates, like I do, like on both sides of your house, what I like to do is put like my recycling cans next to the gate or something, similar to where if somebody jumped over the gate or somebody did anything to get past the gate, it's just impossible for them not to knock over those cans, and impossible not to make sound going on the side of my house. So then I'll know, like, okay, someone's back there. And if it's impossible for a cat to walk around on the side of my house without alerting me, then it's definitely impossible for a human to do it. And then I sleep better. And the nice part is it's nice for my kids. Like one of my kids was worried about zombies, and was able to show them, like, hey, look, this is what daddy has set up. No zombie, nobody can walk next to your bedroom window without daddy knowing. That makes them sleep better. I got one more set, and then I gotta skedaddle. Alright. That's it for today. Hope you guys have a good Monday. And God bless you. Thank you so much.